So Guiyani's world, my world, is, I'd say, first and foremost, very much about my family. My 5-year-old son, my partner, my parents, my siblings, my sisters-in-law, my friends that by extension are like family to me. I'm very grateful and I feel very blessed to have such a beautiful and love-filled support system and base. So it's definitely number one and very big in my world. Secondly, I'd say creativity. I am someone that leads a life that is very creative in both my personal and professional life. And I love to be surrounded by beauty in whichever form, and kind of discovering the beauty in everything. I love to be in spaces that are stimulating, that get my juices flowing, that are inspiring. To be in countries that are, multi-layered, with patterns, with culture. I think that very much fuels my creativity. And I try to live a life that's very much in service of the beautiful world that I live in, that we live in. So it's definitely very big in my world. Lastly, I'd say, but definitely not least important, but I'd say my openness and my curiosity to learning more and growing more into optimizing my experience as a human being. So I'm very curious about different types of healing and meditation and readings on how to trigger shifts in my life that lead me to living a life that is more joyful, more accepting, more content towards my circumstances, towards my family, towards my son. So that's also a very, very big part of my world. So I'm from Maputo in Mozambique, which is a country in southern Africa. My mother is was born in Zavala district in Inhambane, which is also in the south of the country. She comes from an ethnic group called Chope. And my father was born in Maputo, and he's first generation immigrant from Goa in India. At the time, both Mozambique and Goa were Portuguese colonies, and that's how this movement happened. And so basically, in terms of roots, it goes quite deep in terms of exploration of these two people and these two groups. From both my mother and my father's side, there were multiple factors that influenced them coming together, that influenced them individually, from environmental, from political, from more unjust factors such as colonialism. So the roots go quite deep. But I'm quite proud to be part of this, this merging and this blending, and to be able to have such a rich culture and history to explore. So I'm very big in being proud about my identity. So my favorite family tradition, I'd say, is something that is probably practiced in across the world, and it's very simple. It would be Sunday lunch or Saturday lunch, and it's very much about lunch that starts at from 1 or 3 p.m. and ends from 5 to 7. So basically blending into or turning into a different meal. But it's the overall experience that I love about Sunday or Saturday lunch, or lunch with family, because it starts with, the interaction in the kitchen and kind of deciding what is going to be cooked and the different hands that are involved in cooking this meal, which is a meal that is generally, traditional Mozambican food and seafood. We're a coastal country, so we're quite known for our delicious seafood. So then it's about going to the table, setting the table, and kind of sitting down and opening up to conversation and laughter and just a beautiful moment with family. And it generally, it could have family coming in and out, friends coming in and out, and going into late into the day. So it's a moment of just being, which is what I love about it, just being in family and kind of just being present and loving to just eat and talk and just love. Yeah. I am proud and inspired by every single element and equally inspired by every single element of my heritage. It would be hard to pinpoint on one, but as I said, when talking about my roots, there's so many elements and factors and stories and things to pick up from my parents, as well as from the country that I'm from Mozambique. And I'm very proud to be Mozambican. I'm very proud of this mixed heritage that I've inherited. So everything, it would be very hard to find one single element that I'm inspired by or that I'm proud of. It's inclusive. It's a holistic experience and pride in me. I will focus on my maternal side. So I don't have anything that is physical that that's been passed on from my grandmother to my mother to me. But what I have are stories and memories and photos that I believe are equally important in passing on from generation to generation. But I do like the idea of starting a tradition with my mother that would be passed on to my children, to my daughter that I'll hopefully have one day, or to my son, that if it's something that he likes. So I have something here that is a beautiful necklace from Algeria. And this necklace was given to my mother by my father a couple of years ago, and she gave it to me when I was younger. And I absolutely love it. I have traveled with it from home to home, from country to country, and I keep it in a very loving place, and I always take care of it because it's quite special to me. To me, it also means kind of the element of Africa and the role that Algeria played in liberating a lot of the African countries. And my father lived in Algeria when he was younger. And obviously he did not give this to my mother then. He gifted it after they were married and after a trip that he made there. But I still carry with it that, all that power and all that history. So it's very special to me. And I'm looking forward to passing on to the next generation. I am very big on rituals and being consistent about them. I wake up early every day. I'm the first one to wake up in the house because it's quite important for me to be in a space that is, quiet, where I can hear the leaves rubbing against one another. I can hear the birds singing. And I start my day with about a 20-minute meditation that's followed by depending on how much time I have, but it could be followed by some writing, some journaling, or just sitting down and just appreciating and being grateful for life. I believe it's something that is a big factor in setting the intention for my day, for my week, for my life. So I take it quite seriously to be consistent with it, regardless of whether I'm having a good day or a bad day. So I think it's very important to have rituals in place in your life, and those can be, different things. There was a phase in my life that I would wake up and dance to raga in the kitchen by myself. And that was, that just gave me the energy to handle the day, and I loved it. I've calmed down a little bit, but I do feel that music and movement are very important meditations. Yeah. The one advice that I can think of is from my dad. And this was when I was pregnant with my son. And my partner and I were not married. We're still not married. And my dad said, when we had the discussion about my pregnancy, he said, "Don't you get married because you're pregnant." And although I've always been, someone that kind of just, not a rebel, but kind of, I have a mind of my own, and I don't necessarily like to follow things because they're being done, but I like to think things through, and I probably wouldn't have gotten married because I was pregnant, but the simple fact that he said that to me at a moment that you're kind of going through so much, whether it's hormonal changes, pressures, and all kinds of things, it was just beautiful and powerful to me to hear him say that, and it kind of just alleviated or removed any type of doubt or questions I might have had about approaching that situation. So I often think about that, and I'm very grateful that he said that to me. I have multiple dreams. I'm actually the dreamer. I love to dream big. I love to dream small. I love to talk about my dreams. So I have many dreams. I like to work on my dreams. But I can share one that is a very important one and a really big one. And I think my life's work is very much about this dream that is in progress. And this dream is mainly on obviously my professional side, my creative side. And it is about being impactful in my country, in my region, in my continent, and making sure that my skill set is used to the best of its ability, to make sure that I am fully supportive in every project that I do, of empowering and promoting and supporting my peers, artists, artisans, writers, and all kinds of creative expressions in the continent, because I truly believe that it's important for us as Africans to be truly proud of who we are, of our identity, of our history, of our enormous potential of what we can do, and I think it's important for the world to also know it and to see it and to appreciate all of our potential. So it's definitely a big dream, and I will not stop. I have for the past 10 plus years worked on Africa. From my main focus started with fashion, and it kind of moved to kind of be more inclusive of all creative disciplines. but always with a focus on the continent. And I want to make sure that my mission and my calling remains intact, and that my dream comes true.